You are listening to the Conquering Everest podcast, episode number 6. Hey, welcome to the Conquering Everest podcast. My name is Brian Talor. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending a part of your day here with me. I'm sure there's 1,000 other things you could be out there doing, and heck, maybe you're doing some of them now. That's okay. I don't mind being background noise, but I truly do appreciate you tuning in and listening. So thank you so much, so very much. If you'd like to connect with me right now, the easiest and best way to do that is to download the Podbean podcast app onto your Android or iPhone. Look up the Conquering Everest podcast, select the episode you want to comment on, and you'll be able to do so through that Podbean application. I'm still working on some other things, other ways for you guys to get a hold of me, but for right now, that's the best way to do it. Of course, you could visit the Conquering Everest website, conqueringeverest.com, and the podcast seems like it's spreading its way throughout the podcast universe, right? I see I'm on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, a few other ones that I'm not real familiar with. So that's kind of cool, making my way throughout the various podcast applications. So hopefully that's a good thing. Today, if you haven't already guessed, I'm sure you've read you've already seen the title of this podcast. Talent plus struggle equals purpose. I think a sense of personal purpose is something that a lot of us struggle with. I know I have over the years. I've known others that have struggled with it. What's my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I living? Why do I get up every day? Surely there's more to just getting up and going to the 9 to 5 and running the kids to soccer practice and, going to the grocery store. And yeah, there is. That's purpose though. That's part of life. But we're talking purpose on a passionate level of feeling like we have a sense of purpose. I think, as we go through our day-to-day life, right? Some may say, well, you get up and you go to work and you take care of your kids and you do this and you do that and you clean your house and that's your purpose in life. And it is. It's also an obligation. So when I'm talking purpose, I'm talking about that passionate purpose that motivates us, that gets us excited. One of my purposes in life has become this podcast. I get excited when I have an idea for a podcast, and then I can sit down and start from the beginning to the end and create it. That has become a purpose of mine. It brings me passion. It gives me motivation. So that's the kind of purpose I'm talking about, that, those things in lives that just really get you amped up. So a lot of us struggle with that. What is my purpose? And over the years, as I've gone through my own struggles, and I've seen doors open, talents being developed, I've come to this conclusion that, and I'm sure this is not an original thought, okay? So I'm sure somebody else has said that, said what I'm about to say somewhere else, maybe like Tony Robbins or a psychiatrist. I don't know. Somebody said this, I'm sure. If not, I'll take full credit for it. That's cool. Hey, if I can create something new and be an innovator, so be it. I'll take it. But where I'm going with this is, over the years, I've come to realize now in my life that my purpose comes from my talents and my struggles. So let's break that down. And this is an exercise. If you haven't done it in the past, I would encourage you to do it. As I was preparing for this episode, I sat down and I did this exercise again. I've done it in the past, but I've decided to sit down and do it again, get an updated list. So first thing I did is I list my talents. And I don't know who's out there, who's listening, right? I can't directly interact with you, to have a little back and forth, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going, I don't have any talents. I don't do anything special. Well, I'm going to tell you, you do have a talent, okay? You probably have several talents. You're just not giving yourself enough credit. But as I sat down and I said, okay, what are my talents? I came up with a list of speaking, writing, empathy, technical aptitude, humor, leading, coaching, and parenting. And so to kind of break those down a little bit, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have listed speaking as a talent. I was horrified, I guess is a good way to put it, of standing up in front of an audience and speaking. I had a real, phobia of that. And 4 years ago, I joined Toastmasters International, and I was able to overcome that fear of speaking, for public speaking, more specifically. So now I have this talent. I have this new talent this gift that's been given to me, right? In that I can get up in front of a stage and talk to people, or even talk to people right now on a platform like this podcast, right? I can do that now. That's not something that I had in the past, but it's something that's there now. So speaking as a talent, writing has always been a talent for me, even though I haven't always looked at it as that way. I love to write. I love to express myself, and that is a talent. You don't have to have all your commas and, punctuations in the right place. Just write. Just write. I mean, most of us can do that, right? And if not, you can learn. So, writing. Empathy. I put that because, I love being able to interact with people and talk to people, providing a shoulder to cry on, right? Giving somebody a hug when they need a hug. I enjoy doing that for others, so I put empathy. I didn't know how else to define that other than empathy. Technical aptitude, well, that's, for the last 20 years, I've had a career in IT and IT security, and so I've developed quite a bit of technical aptitude, right? As far as, computers and networking and security. So I have that. That's a talent. Whether or not, I choose to use that in a passionate type way, I don't know. That's just one of those things that I have. So I listed that. Humor. I'm a funny guy, at least I'm told. Now, I can't be purposely funny, right? It has to be spontaneous. But I've been told that, I should be a stand-up comedian from time to time, and I don't know if that'll ever happen. But, hey, it's a talent, right? And I can be funny. Leading, I've led teams. I've managed, I've been a manager. Coaching, I've coached tons of youth sports. And then, of course, parenting. I've been a parent now for, my oldest is now 18. So it's been quite a while. So these are all talents. These are all things that I do that I consider to be talents, because like somebody may say parenthood. Well, that's not a talent. Yeah, no, it is a talent, because kids don't come with instruction books, right? But anyways, that's what I've got listed for my talents. And then I sat down and made a list of my struggles, right? Depression. I've struggled with anxiety. As a child, I suffered from some emotional abuse, financial debt. I've been around that block a couple times. I've been divorced, and you know what? I grew up insecure. I was a very insecure child, very insecure teenager, and for a good part of my adult life, I was very insecure as well. So these are all struggles, whether they're current or past. And so now we come to the purpose. Okay. Well, I have a nice little list I can pick from. I created the Conquering Everest podcast. Why did I create this podcast? Well, I wanted to reach out and I wanted to talk to folks about, conquering those giants, those big old nasty giants that we come face to face with every day, whether it's depression or physical health or abuse or divorce or money or whatever the case may be. I wanted to come out here and have a platform where I could share my thoughts, my opinions, and hopefully inspire and motivate a person or two. So I took my talent of speaking and I'm mixing that, right? I'm adding that to my struggles with depression, anxiety, abuse, perhaps even financial debt. Maybe we'll have a podcast about that one day. My insecurities, my inabilities to get to where I want to be, right? I've had plenty of goals over the years, and I didn't always accomplish those goals. And that comes back to insecurity and fear. But, so I'm using a talent and I'm using my experience with struggles, and it's created this purpose. Now, this podcast is a purpose for me. I know, I want to do this. It isn't something that I have to do. It's something I want to do. And when you want to do something, well, you are passionate about a purpose. And, I'm in the process of writing a book, not because I have to, because I want to. I want to share my thoughts and opinions in a written form. If one of these days, one of my goals is to have some sort of practice, right? Whether it's life coaching or, maybe it's just traveling the speaking circuit and getting up on stage and talking to folks. So, using those talents along with my struggles to create my purposes in life, to define my purpose, not necessarily create, but define my purpose in life. And we all have talents. We all have had struggles. And from within those lists, you have a purpose. Now, I will say, from a purpose standpoint, I think we all have the purpose. How do I want to say this? To love, to care for, to share with, inspire, motivate. I believe that's a purpose for all of us, right? We all should be out there doing our part. I recall a few years ago when we had a lot of the racial tension in St. Louis, right? It was really geared more towards the police, and there was just a lot of back and forth and just conflict in Missouri. But I remember this one picture that started making its rounds around the internet, and it was a young black boy hugging a white cop. And that thing just took off like wildfire, and I started seeing it constantly in the Facebook feeds and everywhere, Instagram, all those locations. Here's this picture of this young boy hugging a cop, so a black boy hugging this white cop. This kid had a purpose in life, and I wonder if he even realized that he had that purpose. But he knew he had a talent. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the kid had empathy, right? He felt the pain. He probably felt the pain of both sides, right? He felt the pain of not only his neighborhood or city, but he felt the pain that the police were going through, right? Because, maybe in his mind he knew that not all cops are bad. I know they get a bad rap. We're going through it right now once again. And, I'm sure there's some bad cops. Well, I know there's some bad cops, but there's also a lot of good ones. And I think this kid knew that. So he had this talent for empathy, and he was going through this struggle, this racial divide, and he just shared a little bit of love. And that was the purpose from that talent and that struggle. The purpose was love, to share that. And that blew up. And who knows? I don't know what that kid's doing today. I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure that picture inspired a lot of people. And it just took that one act of kindness and love to make, to become viral. So it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much to find your purpose in life. And, some of your purposes in life, I don't like that word purposes, but in plural form, there's going to be things, here's my point. There's going to be things that you're going to do once, and there's going to be things that you're going to do 1,000 times, millions of times. Who knows? Your purpose can be short term, it could be long term. but it's got to be something that you're passionate about. And that's the type of purpose I'm talking about. That purpose within us that gets us motivated to get out of bed, right? That purpose within us that gives us that drive to do something. And if you're not sure what that purpose is right now, then please take some time. I want you to make a list of all your talents. And I know there's some people out there going to say, I don't have any talents. Hey, I was one of those people too. You do. Here, let me, I'm going to give you a few real quick. If you could read, write, walk, and talk, there's 4 talents right there. There's 4 talents right there. I just gave you the first 4 on your list. And it's just up to you to add to that. If you're a parent, parenting is a talent. Trust me. If you are a husband or a wife, well, being a spouse takes talent. To put up with somebody else's shenanigans, that takes talent and a lot of patience. So, hey, patience could be one of your talents too. But I just want you to sit down and you think about what are your talents in life. No matter how simple or insignificant they seem, I want you to make that list. And then the second list I want you to make is that list of struggles. And I'm sure none of you are going to have a problem, right, making a list of struggles that you're going through. And then I just want you to pick, 2. Pick one from the talent side and one from the struggle side and put them together and see if you can't create a purpose. Hey, I can walk. And I'm struggling right now with all the tension that's going on out in the community. Well, guess what? You can get out there and you can march for unity. You can hold a sign up in front of your, state capitol. If you care about others, caring, having that empathy, that's a talent. And if you've struggled with depression like I have, well, guess what? You can take your talent for caring and marry it up with your struggles and the knowledge that you've gained from depression, and you can go out there and help others, even if it's just being a shoulder to cry on. So, like I said, purpose in life that comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms, right? Some are going to be just for a moment in time, and others are going to be long term. But take those 2 lists, start marrying up the talents and the struggles, and I guarantee you're going to find a purpose. You're going to find something that fills you with passion. You're going to find something that you just can't wait to get up and do. So, talent plus struggle equals purpose. Listen, if you made it this far into the podcast, thank you. Thank you for giving it a listen. 18 minutes or so that we're rolling past, and for some of us that's a long time. But anyways, I hope you found today's episode helpful. I hope I've inspired someone, just someone, one person. That's all it takes. But if you'd like to reach out to me, like I said, go ahead and download that Podbean application to your Android or iPhone and look up the Conquering Everest podcast. You'll find it pretty easy. With a quick search, and then go ahead and select this episode and leave me a comment. I would like to get to know you and interact in whatever ways we can. So, all right, that's going to do it. Until the next episode, go out there and be awesome.